think let's go live now. So, at any moment now, you should actually be able to see us, and I won't know when because this thing has a delay on it. So, I think we'll go for the intro now. So, lads, lasses, people with glasses, and of course, all of those in between, my name, in case you didn't already know, is Dexter, and welcome to the Low Energy Livestream, where today I have a new chair, so I'm at the correct height to do everything that I need to do tonight. So first things first, let's say good evening, Craig. Good evening there, Gassy. Thank you very much for dropping in. Hello there, Albert. Thank you. Also, Paul and Poseidon. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for dropping in. Yes, Paul, I am indeed here on time tonight. Apparently. So then, guys, I have a jam-packed episode for you tonight, full of absolutely nothing. So you might as well just tune out now and leave, because I'm only semi-joking there. I do have some things to talk about tonight. I don't have a lot of topics to talk about tonight, but I feel like we will probably be able to have a few discussions tonight on things that you may just come up as things go. Hello there, Adam. Thank you very much for dropping in. I am sure that you will probably rake me over the coals for this tomorrow at work. But thank you very much for everyone for dropping in. I'll give it a little bit longer to see if we get anyone else in or not, but probably won't, so it may just be the 5 of us tonight. But yes, indeed, we shall see if we get anyone else in. I have a couple of products that I want to show off today that I've seen and kind of like. I have been doing my very best to scan the Facebook pages over the past hour and a half to see what I can talk about tonight, and unfortunately, there does not seem to be a lot to talk about this week. But I shall do my best to entertain yous, come what may. Albert says, running a book on how long till he knacks the chair. Well, Albert, this chair has a weight rating of 17 stone and I am 18 stone. So, put me in on that as well. I reckon maybe a month at the most. Poseidon says, I should come down to YPC. Poseidon, I would absolutely love to, but I am saving all my pennies for the Grand Central Classic at the end of next month. It would be absolutely fantastic to be able to get down to YPC. It's a site I haven't played for probably a couple of years now, and it is in fact one of my favourite sites in the UK. Unfortunately, I can't afford to come down at the moment, even though I really, really would like to. Right, anyway, well, since we've got a few people in, I guess we'll go ahead and make a start with the weekly game shoutouts. So I've got a few here that are kind of regulars, and I've also got a few first-timers that I'm giving a shout-out to. So, unfortunately, I don't have much info on a couple of them, but the vast majority of them I have. So the first one that I'm going to give a shout-out to this week goes to Warzone Paintball. It is a walk-on being held at Wisbech. This is this coming Sunday. It's £20 entry with paint at £30. However, you need to contact the site if you want paint, and you need to do that ASAP. Even if as long as it's before the event, if you contact the site, I'm sure they'll be able to sort you out with something. However, there was a stipulation on that paint needed to be pre-ordered. Other than that, you do also have the option of bring your own. So if you have a paintball shop nearby and you haven't managed to pre-order, you can get some paint there and take it along with you on the day. The site is set for 9:30 arrival and 10 to 10:30 for game on. And I'm also going to start something new this week. When I post up the link on, or when I post up asking for games on UK Paintball, I'm going to give a shout out to the first person who lets me know that there's a game on, or that there's a game on at an independent site. So, for the Warzone Paintball shout out, it goes to Tony Fullerton. He was the first guy to give me a shout out, let me know that there was going to be a game on at Warzone Paintball this weekend. Next up, we have Super Sunday at Paintball Park Kidderminster. Again, this is this coming Sunday. As always with now I wasn't actually told this, but I would assume it is the case, since it is the case with most of the events that PPK puts on. No entry fee, but it is site paint only. Paint options are around about £40 to £45. You can book online, and if you do, you get a free Domino's, or it is £5 extra on the day. There is also, of course, an on-site shop and a covered-over base area. But as I said before, there, this is just information that I'm going off from previous events. But it seems to be that across the board. So please, if you're interested in the PPK games, contact the site first and just confirm all of the information that I've said. I would also like to point out that while they are playing games, they are not going to be necessarily be standard Supair games. There was talk of doing Splatmaster games on the Supair field, which I'm assuming they mean the newer Splatmasters. There is also going to be Supair football, which I'm assuming is something along the lines of you have to still score a goal but try and avoid being shot in the process. There is apparently going to be more games along those lines, which to me sounds really good fun. But I would definitely go and check that one out if you're in the area. That one goes to Steve Tumbles. Thank you very much, Steve, for giving us the information on that, or for letting us know that there was a game on. Next up, there is a walk-on at Weekend Warriors in Reading. It's this coming Sunday, and I believe I'm sorry if I massacre your name here, but this one goes out to Zach Sears. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to get any more information on that one yet, but if anything does come up while I'm on air, I will try and give you some more information on that. There is also CPPS Open Training. CPS is Stafford, I believe. I forgot to actually check the location of that, and it's been a long time since I last played CPPS, and I believe they've moved since I last played there. So, I believe it's Stafford. Anyway, it is an AstroTurf field, which is really nice. I think I've only ever played on an AstroTurf field once. And it is the NXL Prague layout. So that is for round 3 of the NXL. This shout out goes to Dave Riches. Thank you very much, Dave, for giving us letting us know that there is a game on open training on at CPPS this coming Sunday. Next up, we have the Yorkshire Paintball Centre has a walk-on. This is located in Selby this coming Sunday. It is £20 entry for the walk-on or £10 for the 1989 club. The rules are 12 balls per second maximum, 280 feet per second max, semi-automatic only, and there is free ice pops. This weekend is predicted, at the moment I believe, to be a scorcher. So the fact that they've got free ice pops on offer, that's a nice little lure. If you're interested and you don't know what the 1989 club is, the 1989 club is kind of a throwback to old school paintball, where it is micro hoppers, mag fed, pump action, but of course with all micro hoppers, pistols are welcome. And it's meant to be a game where there's going to be a lot less paint in the air. It is a very popular one with mag-fed players, but even players with tournament-style markers are welcome as long as they use no more than, I believe it's a 50-round hopper on it. So YPC is one of my favourite sites in the country. It is definitely one that I would recommend checking out. That bridge is just immense. It is a fantastic site to check out. And next up, there is a MagFed session on at District 23, which is located in Billingham. This is this coming Sunday. It is running for 3 hours from 6 PM until 9 PM. I forgot to give the shout out for, it was Jason Kerr that gave us the information on the YPC walk-on. Right, next up, so we have a MagFed session at District 23 in Billingham this coming Sunday. It is £28 including your paint, and runs for 3 hours from 6 PM until 9 PM. So there's the potential for, if you're playing one of these other games, you could potentially nip back up and have yourself a bit of a MagFed sesh at District 23 before you go home. Yeah, anyone that's waiting for you at home doesn't need to know that you've played 2 games in one day, do they? So yes, there is spaces available for a MagFed session. It is only 3 hours, but with District 23, they ram the games in there. You get a really good session there and £28 for what you actually get is a fantastic price, especially considering, I mean, it's more catered. The MagFed sessions are actually more catered towards. They're more catered towards rental players, but they are very open and welcoming of other players, you know, regular players as well. But for the £28, if you are a rental player, you get paint, which is around about 4 magazines worth of paint, I believe. You get your attack vest, you get the 4 mags, you get the TMC rental hire, your mask, and I think a set of overalls, although I may be wrong on the overalls, but I'm pretty sure, no, in fact, yes, you do, you get overalls. You get all of that for your £28. It is a fantastic deal. The only thing is that it's not long enough. Yeah, I can almost guarantee, if you've never played before and you go play that session, I can almost guarantee you will want to play again. And for the price of it, it's unbelievable. I believe there has already been a lot of new players who have gotten interested because they've gone and played that session. Anyway, the shout out for that one goes to Michaela Fretwell, who is actually, I understand, the manager of the site. So thank you very much, Michaela, for giving us the information on that. Next up, there is Brickwood Paintball has open training. This site is located at St Albans, or near St Albans. This is running both Saturday and Sunday. It is the pricing is from £35, including a box of paint. For a day's training, you can't go wrong for that. £35 including a box of paint is brilliant. And also, I can't say what layout they're doing, but with round 3 of the NXL coming up, if you're a CPBS player or you're a player that's going to be getting in on that action, it's just a great session for to get yourself along to, get some training in, and hone your skills. Keep your hand in. And the shout out for that one goes to John Owens. Now, I'm being nice there and giving John a shout out for that one because he didn't actually post it in the link where I asked for information. I found that as a separate page, as a separate post. And I suppose by rights, the shout out for the YPC doesn't entirely go to Jason because I did also have an invite from the site owner Andy Sables himself for that event a few days earlier, but Jason was the first person to post up information about that on the page that on the post on UK Paintball where I asked for information. Right, so now that is the game shout-outs done, let's drop back into the comments and let's see what people are saying. Now, I hope yous are being nice. I really hope that yous are being nice. So, Poseidon says, when's the Grand Central Classic? I believe it is the last weekend of next month. Gassy says 19-man classic rules event at Paintfest. 10-man, sorry, yes, it's a 10-man event at Paintfest. Well, it's being held at Paintfest, but it's being ran alongside Paintfest. So, if you head down there, you can take part in the festivities of Paintfest, take advantage of the. I'm assuming that there is some kind of deal where you can get into the players' bar or the players' party on the. Which I believe it is the Saturday. Well, it'll be the Saturday night. You can get in on the players' party on the Saturday night, have a good time, get up and play some of the games on the Sunday. You play the big game on the Saturday if you're playing Paintfest, and yeah. Or if you're playing the Grand Central Classic, you play some of the games on the. You walk the field on the Friday. You play some of the games on the Saturday. You play some more games on the Sunday, and you take advantage of the players' party on the Saturday night. Now, I may be wrong on that, but I know that's how the Paintfest side of things is running. And since Grand Central Classic is running alongside it, I would assume that you'll have access to some of those things as well. But there is, of course, at the Grand Central Classic and at Paintfest, there is going to be a lot of trade stands on offer. They generally have a few fun things thrown in there as well. Like there's been inflatable features at some of the events, as well as I think there's been inflatable assault courses, fighting things and stuff like that. Like where you're on you've got to try and bash each other with inflatable battens and things. That was quite fun that year. There has also been like volleyball nets and stuff set up so people can have games of that. It's normally a really good weekend. Right. That's it. As Gassie's saying, the Grand Central Classic won't be cheap, so I can't afford to do both. Poseidon, believe it or not, this is not a high budget setup. um, you think your friends are doing GCC, but could be wrong. Well, it wouldn't surprise us, Poseidon. There's a lot of players are heading down and taking part in it, and I'm looking forward to being shot by them all. Paint Magnet, good evening there, Colin. Says howdy from Pancake Land. How were your pancakes, Colin? It's a bit out of season to be having them, but I can appreciate an off-season pancake. Albert says, Colin, all you do is eat. How the hell are you not the size of a house? Well, in all fairness, Colin, in all fairness, Albert, he is nearly as tall as one. I think there's still plenty growing in that lad. Tunes by Poseidon, 1989 Club is where you can only take 150 rounds out on the field, and you can use anything gun-wise. First strike, no first strike allowed. Thank you very much for the information there, Poseidon. Albert, no, I don't want to be nice. Well, this is it. I think most of the people that actually tune into this live stream just tune into abusers. Gassy says, no players party for you, Sunshine. Early night to be fit for Sunday. Well, me and Chan have plans. Although those plans may change depending on if we can get booked in anywhere or not. So, all I can say is while you guys are intense, swimming pool. If not, it may just be a paddling pool at the back of the van. Albert, yeah, right. I can see you going to bed early. Yeah. This is it. I probably will, because quite frankly, as I'm getting older, I'm starting to enjoy going to bed earlier and earlier. What was once a punishment is now becoming a pleasure. I feel like I am aging at an unbelievable rate. And Colin says his pancakes are amazing. And Gassy, Dex and Chan, who's Big Spoon and who's Little Spoon? Gassy, can you see me as being anything other than the Big Spoon? Or low? No, Chan's too small for to be the Big Spoon. You can just, I can get around him properly. You're still going on the pancakes. Did a triple egg mix, duck eggs too. They must be huge. I did see that you'd sent photos in the chat earlier, in the chat message, in the chat board thing there earlier on. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to actually view them, so I will be looking at your pancakes later on. Albert says, can't see any of the Grizzlies not having a drink. We play better hungover. Colin says, I of course will be the Little Spoon. I'm not too sure on that. But you know, in Arctic conditions, you have to share body heat. Possibly not so much in hotel rooms, but what can I say? Colin's pancakes bring all the girls to the yard, and their lake is better than yours. Damn right. Anyway, that's less of the spooning and pancakes. Right, I was going to talk about something, and it's gone completely out of my brain now. So thank you very much for that. Poseidon, you're using your egg a lot more than your Spire now. Egg for the win. Indeed. Poseidon, I absolutely adored my egg when I had it. I should never have sold it. It never let me down. The only thing is, egg hoppers are not designed for being bounced around on your marker or anything like that. The feed necks over time do weaken, and you can, if you're like diving into bunkers and things like that, there is the potential for them to actually just snap off. It is a major flaw with the hopper, but I absolutely adored my egg. They were fantastic. Colin, I'm the cuddly one. Chan is too bony to cuddle. Yes, but because he's bony, I can get right round him. I can hold him in. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's just take a moment to have a word from our sponsor. Tonight's sponsor is no one. Please buy no one's products. Right. Anyway, so let's get on to a little bit of it. Let's get on with a little bit more with the show. I realise we are only 20 minutes in, and I am struggling. So first thing today, I'm going to give a shout out to Gaffs again. Yes, I know I keep giving the same sort of people regular shout outs, and yes, I know I need to work on that, but Gaffs has been in here a few times and he's talked about his CCM. Now, I had to give this a shout out because it's actually a very well put together video. He's got some fantastic shots of his CCM sniper in there. And quite frankly, you don't see CCM snipers all that often. They are very rare, and they are a well put together mark. I mean, it is CCM, so you know CCM stuff is just really smooth and well done. Go check his video out because, as I said, some of the shots of his marker are fantastic. It's very smooth. It is very sleek looking. And he also includes some gameplay video in there. I don't think you can do a marker show-off video without putting some gameplay in there. And he's got some fantastic scope cam footage in there, dropping first strikes in on people from quite a distance away. It's just a very well put together video. Please, guys, go check it out. Gaffs is another one of these YouTubers that I think is highly underrated and definitely needs more people to check his content out. However, I still maintain, Gaffs, I don't know if you're here or not, but what is with the Crocs? I never got an answer. I think I might actually message you on Facebook or something, because I want to know, do you play in Crocs all the time? Was it just that once where you forgot your shoes? Because I've done that. I've turned up at an event before and forgetting my shoes, and I had to play in my shoes that I would have worn it any other time, but not Crocs. Why Crocs? Nobody looks good in Crocs. I understand they might get like maximum airflow through them, but seriously, Crocs, just no. Right. So, yeah, guys, as I said, there is a link in the description down below. Please go check out Gaffs' video because it is a very well put together video. Right, Albert, I'll have to check that out. Can you give us more information on that one, Albert, just so I can read it out, or is it just a video? I'll actually give you time to respond to that because I realise, yes, there is a delay. Poseidon, the only thing you want for your egg is a reinforced feed tube. Yes, that's it. The feed tubes do need the feed neck on them could do with being reinforced. What I would say is that I suppose nowadays you may be actually able to get something sorted out to actually reinforce them. Or you may be able to get them replaced with a thicker or a better quality plastic. Ultimately, I don't know because it would be a case of getting somebody to make something. You may be able to contact one of the guys in the UK that does or anywhere else for that matter, that does 3D printing, and you may be able to get a 3D printed feed neck replacement for it. But even then, I don't know how well that would hold up. But it's definitely an option because I think the egg feed necks were pretty thin to start with. So you could, definitely see if you could get a 3D printed one, reinforce it, and it would make an egg last a bit longer. So I'm pretty sure the feed necks could be removed on them. Somebody will correct us if I'm wrong on that. Which, talking of that, Paul says he's now waiting for me to say that eggs are rare. Well, Paul, eggs are becoming more and more rare. That you definitely don't see eggs on fields very often now. But go on, send us a photo where you've got about 20 of them. But yeah, you don't see viewloader eggs. Was it viewloader? Yeah, it was viewloader. You don't see viewloader eggs anymore, very often anymore. The only time you really ever see them is in the occasional buy-sell trade posts or those few players that actually still use them, and it's that. it's something that I think is great. I mean, they weren't the best designed, yes, but they just did the job and absolutely adored my egg. It was a fantastic hopper. At least in my opinion, it was a fantastic hopper. And mine always worked. You just put the batteries in, flick the switch, and it worked. Yeah, what more can you ask for? Um, Thanks, Colin. Apparently I'd suffocate Chan with my moobs, even from behind. Colin, my moobs are not that big. I've been told that I apparently have still quite a firm chest. Oh god. And Poseidon says, well, they are sort of rare, and I totally agree, Poseidon. They're not, obviously, they're not the rarest of things, and there is still some out there, and I know that people will have them in like boxes and lofts and in garages and things like that, but you don't actually see them very often, which I count as being rare. Colin says that is super nice. I know the CCM SSR bolt action rifle is a really nice marker, and I have never seen one in person, and I've only ever seen a handful of videos of them actually being used, and it's great to see that there is somebody out there using one. The last time I even heard of them, they weren't even at the point of being able to load the marker properly. You could load. They didn't have a mag in place yet. You had to single shot load them, and they were functional. They didn't have a mag system in place. So the fact that there is actually mags in place now and they are working is great. And I love the fact that there is somebody out there who's actually using one. I just wish that they weren't as expensive. But as with a lot of things, you do get what you pay for. Yes, there is some equipment and some stuff that can be modified to work better, but CCM, you are paying for quality. Colin says the CCM SSR is the rarest of CCMs, and CCM is rare to start with. Exactly, Colin. You don't even see many people shooting. Well, I'm not sure if I've ever seen a CCM pump in person in the UK. I am probably I think I don't even know many people that have CCM pump kits. I'm the only person that I know locally that has a CCM pump kit. Again, Paul's probably going to prove us wrong on this. But yeah, it's not something that I've seen a lot of, really, and they're a great. They're great pieces of equipment. They are very well machined. They're just fantastic markers and fantastic pieces of equipment. I've actually got my kit bag at hand, so yeah, right. The one thing that I'm not a huge fan of with the CCM is the 98 grip. The what the hell they're called? They're like the 1911 style grips. They are slightly different to some of the other ones that I've got, so they don't take as well as I would have hoped they would. However, you can obviously get replacement panels because they are 911 or 1911 style grips. But the CCM kits, they feel fantastic in your hand. They're just lovely. Now, obviously, this isn't a CCM body. I wish it was, but yeah, they're just they're a fantastic piece of equipment. The milling on them is great. Yeah, I love the CCM stuff, and I genuinely wish I could afford more. Saw full moon in the reflection there. But yeah, I genuinely wish I had money to be able to afford CCM, like more CCM gear. I'm thinking I have got a build that I'm working on, that I'm planning on working on in the future, which I would love to have a CCM kit on. But what I'm facing is I can't decide if I should put the CCM kit on that I already have and put I think it's a so the WMA or a WWA pump kit onto that. if I do that, then I would have to put my WGP slider back onto my O4 body, along with the WMA pump kit, and I'd have to put my Eclipse hinge frame back onto my Outcast. So there'd be a lot of jiggling around there if I do that. But this is all depending on what I do. Anyway, right. So yeah, if anyone's interested, I can talk about that a bit more. But I'll drop back into the comments here for a little bit. Colin says the weakest point on an egg was the battery door hinge. You see, I don't know, because I never ever had a problem with the battery door on my egg, and I never had a problem with the feed with the mouth on them, the lid, if you will. The only place where I had problems on my egg was the one of the paddles inside kind of bent a bit at one point. This hopper still worked fine though, and it started getting cracks in the feed neck. Even then, I would have happily kept using that hopper for as long as it was working, but I sold it on because I wanted to get new gear, and as most people do, and it's something that I've always kind of regretted selling. Paul says only about half a dozen. I'm assuming that's how many eggs he has. Well, Paul, if you have like half a dozen egg hoppers, I challenge you to use one on field. Take one out, get photos of you playing with it, and prove me wrong that they're rare. Colin says, think the feed neck was part of the feed that the shells clamped around. The part of the feed shelf that the shells clamped around. It could have been. I can just remember that the feed neck. I can't even remember dismantling it. I know I did for to clean it, because obviously you get paint inside of it if you chopped anything off, paint blew back up the feed neck or anything like that. But yeah, I can't remember how it actually dismantled now. It's been a very long time. Albert says, was my eggs Cadbury's or Nestle? It was Galaxy, which is Nestle Galaxy. Isn't Nestle Mars, or is Mars Nestle? I have no idea. Somebody tell us in the comments who Galaxy is actually part of. What we got? Gassy says Greg Hastings had one for Magfed games. Is that the CCM SSR? Has Greg not got something else now for Magfed games? I can't remember what. Albert, Thing Mac I have no idea. Albert, Dex's egg was Terry's chocolate orange. Yes, Colin saw a full moon in the reflection there. I am very sorry if anybody saw more than they would have liked to have seen. And Colin also says if he won the lottery, he'd buy every pumper in the UK pumper a CCM. I will hold you to that one. Gaffs, welcome to the stream. Thank you very much for dropping in. Since you are here, maybe you can answer why Crocs. Was the Crocs in your video a one-time thing, or do you regularly play in Crocs? I need to know. I need to know what the deal was with your Crocs. Albert says you see a velocity adjuster for a Sterling, and is that red and white? It is indeed a velocity adjuster for Sterling, and I don't actually know why it has been painted on the ends. I believe this is the one that Richie Wong gave us, and it is here because I don't want it in my kit bag where it's going to get damaged or anything. But yes, it is in my beautiful, evil pen pot. Thank you very much, Chan. Right. What else we got? Colin, yes, indeed. Speaking of gaffs, and gaffs, yes. We've been talking about your CCM. Right, gaffs. So your name is Jeff. Hello there, Jeff. Thank you very much for dropping in. Could it be Channing Tatum? In all fairness, I don't think I've seen Gaff's Jeff's face, so... OG Gregory, what we're talking about. We are currently talking about CCM, and specifically the CCM SSR Sniper, which Gaff's were... This was my shout-out video of the week, was Gaff's video of his CCM SSR bolt action rifle. If you haven't already seen it, there is a link in the description down below which will take you over to Gaff's video. Please go check it out because he has put together a very well. His video is very well put together. It's definitely a lot more put together than anything that I produce, and it is. His shots of the mark are very slick. He also includes some gameplay footage of him doing some sniping, shooting first strike, and he is dropping very accurate shots on players at quite a distance. Obviously using first strike, so he does have the range advantage. But it's a very nice video with a very nice marker in it. Gaffs, yes, that's the same as Greg Hastings. It's the same as your new marker on your video. So have you just picked that up, Gaffs? Colin says Crocs are better than cardboard parcel taped to my feet. In my defence, the cardboard taped to my feet was to go home because I had to play that day in my normal trainers and they were manking for getting back in the car. So I wouldn't have necessarily worn cardboard on my feet to play the game. That could have ended very badly. I'm pretty sure I got some really funny looks going into KFC with that on my feet. Anyway, Gaffs, you think regularly, if you play a full day scenario, you play with your hiking shoes in the morning and Crocs in the afternoon. Why? Why? Crocs are really not a practical shoe to be playing scenario paintball in. Just why? They are not a shoe that is designed to be running around in the woods with. They can't offer much protection. I can imagine that they probably have great airflow, and also I suppose great drainage as well. But really, Crocs? Albert, you know why it's red and white as you painted it. Right, well, can you tell me why it's red and white? Is there any specific reason why it's red and white? Was it just so that you knew it was yours, or was it some reference to a local football team? And Gaffs, you are more than welcome for the mention, mate. It's a great video, and I want to see paintball grow more. And I think you deserve more views on your videos. You deserve to have more people subscribe to you, and I think it's only right that I give you a shout out for making a great video. Albert, you are sick of losing them on field, so you painted the end of it to stand out. Well, that's why I don't take tools out. If especially, I don't know how you could take that out. That must have been awkward for keeping with you on the field. Say if I've got a couple of CCM Phantom valve keys, and I'll go out, sort my velocity, and then take it straight back in. There's no way I'd be keeping them with us on the field. Although I suppose that thing might actually fit into a pot, and so yeah, I suppose if it fits in a pod, then there's that option. But I'd rather not. But talking of my Sterling, I do need to still adjust the velocity on it. I still need to shim that up. So I need to remember to do that. I might actually do that at GCC if I get time in between games or something. Gaffs, you picked it up from a friend. It's actually not that expensive. You got it for $550 and just put it in a stock. So with the marker, how easy was it to drop it into a stock? Did it just drop straight in? Was it? Did you have to modify the stock at all? Yeah, did you have to modify the stock at all? Is it designed to fit certain stocks or anything like that? Can you give a little bit more information? Colin, the SSR is the SAR 12, but from before the SAR. Well, that's the thing. Was it from before the SAR? Because I can kind of remember them both around about the same sort of time, but now that I can't really remember which actually came first. As I said, I think that that the SAR probably was well, I think the SAR probably became the more popular of the two because they had their mark system in place first and things like that. But the SAR is obviously a lot more money. And Gaffs, you're saying that you got yours for like $550. I'm assuming that since you're saying that you got it from your friend, that it was $550. I'm assuming that's second hand, but I know that a SAR retails for easy over £1,000. But it's a marker that's not exactly designed to be shot round after round after. You're not designed to be shooting a lot of paint with it. They are more sort of precision tools, and obviously with a precision tool, you expect to pay a little bit more money. And you're going to get good performance from it, or should get good performance from it. Gaffs, because your foot is wide, you can't stay longer with shoes. Well, that's understandable, but I just can't get the Crocs. Yeah, just Crocs. Aha! Now, this isn't something I can share with the chat yet, but I am very interested in something that Chan has just shared with the private page. Some of you that watched Monday night's show, I can't remember if it was mentioned or not, but it may be something that interests you. But it could be very exciting for the GCC. Will be very interesting for the GCC. I'm looking forward to seeing that, and I'm kind of hoping to get one myself. But yes, the Chandy Man, the mad scientist, is at it again. So if you haven't already, go check out Northern Custom Works on Facebook, which is the Chandy Man's Facebook page for the stuff that he makes, and stay tuned to that because there's a good chance that you might actually see something. You may see something before long come up on that. Anyway, so Albert, just think it's funny that a Geordie now has a red and white Allen key. Albert, I'm not a Geordie. And I don't care about football anyway. I was getting abuse at work because I recently got a Sports Direct mug because it is a nice big mug. And it's also smaller than my Size Matters mug. I don't care about football. It's just a big mug. Yeah, Colin. Just fold it in half so it's easier to carry. Yeah. I think Albert would probably go mental if I did that. Gaffs, you don't like SARS, to tell you the truth, but please no hate. Gaffs, I have no hate at all if you do not like SARS. I've never actually used a SAR personally. I've never used the SSR personally. To be perfectly honest, the closest thing I've ever come to using a sniper rifle in paintball was I modified a TPX with aftermarket parts to try and shoot first strike for a while, and it didn't work very well, so I just didn't bother anymore. That's about the closest I've ever had to having an actual paintball sniper rifle. I have no objection to them, and I'm very, very interested to see where the new one, I'm trying to think of who is making it. Give us a sec, because I do have it wrote down here somewhere. I'm sure that I have it wrote down somewhere. It's the Dynamic Sports Gear PSR 14 sniper rifle. I'm very interested to see how what that's like, and depending on the cost of it, kind of tempted to get my hands on one of them, because if it isn't a huge price, and depending on the parts on it and stuff, if it's got autococker threads or can be modified by something that the Chinese man makes, if it can be modified to take autococker threaded barrels, oh, he's not got one. No, oh, it's one of his toys. Good boy. Hello, wife. If I can get one of those things, I'd be very interested in possibly starting doing a little bit of sniping myself, but it probably wouldn't be something I would do a lot. And I don't even know if I would necessarily say sniping. I don't really have the play style for to be a sniper. I think I'm far too aggressive, and yeah, I'm far too aggressive of a player to play as a sniper. I would probably play with a bolt action on the front, like up in the front lines of a game. And I think that would be fun. That would be awesome. Trying to snap shoot with a bolt action would be great. Yes, I have just spotted that Dr. Rush has joined the chat. Hello there, Dr. Rush. Is everybody prepared for Hell's Gate? I would love to be at Hell's Gate, but again, unfortunately, it is something that I just can't afford at the moment. But you'll have to let me know how it goes, guys. I think it'll be. It looks like it's going to be a great game. From everything I've seen, which granted hasn't been much, it looks like it's going to be potentially a great game. I'm just going to close that there. Yeah, it should be a fantastic game. So yeah, as I said though, guys, please let us know. Please let us know what it goes like if it's a fun game. Because I want to know. I want to know what paintball's like around the world. Right, so what we're saying, Gaffs, you modify the stock for your SSR. It's not that easy because you reinforced it. It's not that easy because you reinforced it with metal. All right, okay. So it wasn't just a quick drop in, but hey, as long as it works, that's all that matters. Colin says he's on to his final pancake, and indeed I bet that you're stuffed. Gaff's just a lot of drilling on the stock. I bet there was, if you've had to do all that. Albert. Okay, you're a Scotsman with your brains kicked out. I'm not a Scotsman either. I live south of the border. I just live north of Newcastle. No, he hasn't had his tea yet. Ooh. I thought I was going to have a cable ripped out there. Colin says, I lie. I fondled his Magfed monstrosity in Raiders. I may have fondled it, but I can't remember playing with it. Gaffs, his old sniping videos is just an M17, and you run with people who has a SAR 12 in your area, and they are impressed with your marker. From this is it, Gaffs. Your videos are, you make great sniping videos, and to me, because I haven't really done much in the way of sniping, I can't tell the difference between somebody using a SAR 12 or using a Hammer 7 or using an M17 or basically whatever you guys are using. Yes, as long as you are doing great shooting, and I realise that in some cases, obviously, it's highlights and things like that, but you guys, when you put together good content, I can't tell the difference, and without actually having to go myself, I couldn't say if one is better than the other, and all I can do is go off what you guys are saying. And I know that the SAR 12 has got quite a good reputation. However, it also has a reputation of being heavy and being expensive. But then again, it is a sniper that's kind of designed to be a bit like a Barrett 50 cal, so you know, you've kind of got to compensate for that. Um, oh yes, yeah. um, Colin, it was in the team chat, not a private message. Anyway, so yeah, and as for the CCM SSR, I know that CCM has a very good reputation for making really nice stuff. But they've got a reputation from Pump. Now, realistically, Pump isn't all that much different to playing with like a bolt action. It's just, yeah, I suppose that obviously with a bolt action, you've got a slower rate of fire, especially depending on how the pump action is done. Um, um, guys, you start dropping us in it with Chan. But yeah, it's I've completely lost my trail of thought there. So anyway, right, let's drop back into this. But yeah, Dr. Rush, everybody prepared for Hell's Gate. I was saying I would absolutely love to go, but I can't go. Ben says the purple-headed pit yakka. Ben, there's people who say that I'm a pit yakka as well, and me and Albert live like across a river from each other. Poseidon, if you could have any paintball gun, what would I have? Dookie DSG. I have wanted a Dookie DSG for years and years now, and to get one new now is pretty much impossible. There may be a slight possibility if you want to contact Dookie and speak to him directly. You may be able to get something built up out of old parts, or like parts that haven't been sold. But I don't even know if that's possible anymore. But yeah, a Dookie DSG is one of my all-time. It's up there on my list of markers that I would love to get my hands on. Partly because it is also actually made with some CCI Phantom parts, which I absolutely adore. CCI Phantoms. It's one of the reasons why I used to have them on the wall behind us. But yeah, the Dookie DSG is right up there in markers that I would. In fact, it is the top marker that I would have if I could get my hands on one. There's also the Dookie DRV, which was the revolver. I wouldn't mind getting my hands on one of them. But other than that, there's just a list of markers that I would love to get my hands on, and I just can't afford it, and I can't justify it. If I played all the time and I had loads and loads of money, there's definitely just this massive list of stuff that I'd be out there, I'd buy. Yeah. Right. Albert says, if you're not a Geordie and you're not a Mackem, you must be a Scotsman. You know what it is? There is so many people that it's people from down south generally that if they'll hear the accent and go, oh, you're Geordie. No, I live north of Newcastle. Oh, so you're Scot. You're a Scot. You're Scottish. No, I live south of the border. Oh, so you're a Geordie. No, I live north of Newcastle. So you're a Scot. And it goes round and round and round. Ben, it says Pit Yaka. Yeah, but Albert is from Pitt Village in Durham, not Afghanistan. What can I say? I mean, pretty much everywhere that is in my area has either had mining in it or under it. Gaffs. You're just new to pumps. Is the CCM really that good? Gaffs, there is a hell of a lot of people, and myself included, that love CCM stuff. I've shown it off earlier on. This is my CCM pump. It's just a WGP autococker body that has been modified, but it's got the CCM pump kit on it. So the CCM trigger frame, the CCM pump kit, and it's they're just really well machined. Now with the CCM pump kits, some of them, in fact pretty much most of them, have anti-twist bars. Some pump kits you'll get where they only have the one bar there, and then they'll have the pump arm on that side. So when you pump them, they can twist, and that can cause damage or wear to the marker. These having like the extra bars in there and stuff just reinforces it and stops them from rattling round. They can be fitted with auto trigger, although you don't actually have to use that. But that is a nice feature, so you can just hold the trigger down and just pump away. It'll fire as fast as you can pump, which, with a bit of practice, you can fire pretty damn fast. The machining on them is fantastic. Just the way everything works on them is just fantastic. They even feel good in the hand. I was saying that as I'm watching myself pump it on the delay there, but I absolutely adore this thing. This was the first pump I ever bought, and I slowly built it up to the point it's at now, and I have every intention of sending this off to be anodized at some point, so that it's just nice. Yeah, this thing, it's never going to part from me. I plan on having this pump for the rest of my life, as far as I'm concerned. It just makes me really, really happy. Even though I haven't had her out and played with them for a long time with her, it is just a marker that makes me feel great. And the pump kit is a great addition to it. What I was saying earlier on is I have got I've got a project coming in the future at some point, and I can't decide if I should buy another CCM pump kit if I can track one down, or if I should just put that CCM pump kit onto it and then put my old pump kit on, which isn't a CCM pump kit, back onto that body and then use the CCM for the project. But that is something that I'm going to get to at some point in the future. But yeah, I absolutely love CCM stuff. They're fantastic bits of equipment. Poseidon, you're looking for a clear egg as well, as it's better than the TFX rotor. Yeah, your egg's never jammed. Well, I can't say that my egg ever jammed either, but eggs obviously do have the flaws themselves. As was said before, you have things like the feed necks snapping. If you play with them a lot and you're taking dives and things like that. The battery doors can have a habit of snapping on them, and even the lids on them can snap as well. That said, it is still one of my favourite all-time hoppers because mine just always worked. But apparently there can be a bit hit or miss as to what you actually get. But yeah, I love mine. But I would say, if you're interested in getting into tournament play, I'm not sure what the rules are with tournaments on having clear hoppers. They may have changed, but I believe at one point you weren't supposed to have a clear hopper in case you had paint burst in the hopper, which would then give the appearance of a big patch of paint. It was also quite hard to ref them in case, even if you had paint on the outside, it could be mistaken for paint on the inside and things like that, or somebody may even just see the paint through your hopper and think it's a hit because you've got bright patches of paint. But I don't know what the rules are on that anymore. It was just informed the other day that apparently I think it is yellow paint that is now banned from events, and orange paint isn't even an issue anymore. So you can have orange equipment for going out and playing games, and apparently that's fine. Now that was news to me. Yeah, I was still under the impression that orange paint was banned from events. Oh, sorry, that orange clothing was banned from events to stop the mistake of having live hits on you. Colin says CCM pumps are regarded as one of, if not the best pumps you can buy. Which, yes, as I understand, that is pretty much the case. Poseidon says, what cocker body is that? This one here, it is just a 04 Pro stock body, but it has, when I bought it, it was just a standard 04 Pro stock body, that it was that had an E-blade on it. So that's why it's got that little black patch there. That's because it was drilled for eyes. So that little cap there blocks the eye off. And the holes in the side here, I'm pretty sure they were cut in by the Chinese man. In fact, yes, this one was done. All the milling on this marker was done by the Chinese man. He filed down some of the body at the front here just to make it look more nice and rounded off. Hello, dog. Hello. The back block is actually, I believe, from an 03 Pro stock, because unfortunately mine got lost at some point. The bolt pin is a Chinese man special bolt pin. All the milling, the thinning down on the side walls here, that kind of falls in behind the fans on the sides there. I don't know if you can actually see that or not. Again, that was done by the Chinese man. Basically, he tidied up and made it look good. What I did with a hacksaw and a metal file. The feed neck mod, as I was saying, metal file and hacksaw, was done by me while sitting at my old job. I just cut the feed neck down to the sort of height that I wanted, and then took a metal file to it because I was an idiot. So the feed neck mod isn't exactly the tidiest, but it actually works. The rest of the work, all of the nice looking stuff, was done by the Chinese man. Yeah, and this is, as I said, it's one of my favourite markers, and it's one I never ever plan on selling. All I need to do is actually send off to get it anodized so that it looks all nice and pretty, and then it will be done forever. Thing is, what I need to do is I need to get myself a decent barrel kit, since pretty much all the markers I use, apart from the ones that have their own stock barrels, pretty much all the markers I have use autococker threaded barrels. So I need to get myself a decent barrel kit. I'm thinking an Inception Design Stellar barrel kit, and the dog is squeaking a toy downstairs, so I'm just going to shut the door. Yeah, so I'm thinking an Inception Design Stellar barrel kit, but I need to work out what to do that is going to... I want something that is going to match all of my markers, or at least within a certain reason. So I think it has to be something that is just completely random, so that it doesn't really match anything, and that'll kind of really match my style of play. I'm just Albert, wouldn't know CCM always been too expensive for me, but you've always been told that they're good. Well, that's it. The only bit of CCM gear that I have is that pump kit. Other than that, I've just been told that CCM gear is amazing. I've seen a lot of people rant and rave about them on forums and things like that. That they're really happy with them. Ben says that's why I'm popular in the van. I'm assuming that's to do with me pumping. Gaffs, is there really a difference between speedball and pumps when it comes to accuracy? Right, well, I see that you've asked the second question there as well, but I'll answer that first one. Is there really a difference between speedball and pumps when it comes to accuracy? To be perfectly honest, no. I can't say that there is any difference between a speedball gun and a pump action. The difference is that pump players generally tend to appreciate that our shots count more. When you don't have the capacity of just being able to fire, like, rain paint with a... Yeah, when you don't have the capacity to just rain paint with a semi-automatic, you've got to take advantage, you've got to take more... I don't know how to put it. It's kind of like playing with a sniper rifle. You more care with your shots. You know, because you know that you might have one shot before your opponent turns around or drops back into cover. You generally you'll learn you'll learn to assume where your shots are going to land, as opposed to just raining paint in the hope that 1 out of 20 balls will actually land where it is. Now, you can play the exact same style with any marker. You know, if you want to play with a tournament style marker and only just drop one shot at a time, you can play like that. But the generality is that the more paint somebody has in their marker, the less accurate they will be, because they have the capacity to rain paint as opposed to pick their shots. I think that's what I was struggling to say, is it comes down to picking your shots. Generally, pump players, pistol players, snipers, they pick their shots better than people that are using semi-automatics. So, as far as the marker itself being more accurate, no. Pretty much every single marker will fire with a certain amount of, or within a certain amount of accuracy. And even then, a cheap marker with a good barrel kit on it can achieve, and that's a cheap marker regardless of playstyle, be it pump, pistol, mag fed, tournament style, anything. Cheap versus high end is all going to shoot reasonably well, as long as you have good paint to ball match and good consistency on velocity. Everything else after that, it comes down to player ability, style, all that sort of stuff. There's a lot of variables come down to it, but in general, no. And why do I like playing pump? I suppose because playing pump is a challenge. It's easy to pick up a semi-auto and, as I said, just rain paint. I mean, that's what I basically did when I first started playing paintball. And to go out and I can pick up a tournament style gun, and I can go out and I can rain paint, and I know that I'm gonna walk away from the day with a handful of kills under my belt. But going out and playing pump and being good at playing pump does require skill, because you do not have that capacity of just raining paint, as I said, that you can fall back on. So for me, it feels like when you get a kill playing pump, you've earned it more. And I suppose it's probably the same when you play with something like a bolt action sniper rifle, or for that matter, as a sniper at all, or even it was similar to when I played MagFed against regular players. When you got kills and you were massively outgunned, it felt great. When you're on it's the I suppose the idea of being like the Jason versus Goliath, or the being the underdog and winning out over the big powerful player, or the big strong man and the little guy wins. It's that sort of feeling. It makes you feel good. It really makes you feel like you have earned it. So that's basically why I like playing pump. It feels so much better than just going out and spraying paint and the guy puts his hand up and walks off. And as Ben says, accuracy is paint to barrel match. Nothing to do with closed versus open bolt. This is it. There is a lot of myths about what you can do to improve range or accuracy and things like that. Now, yes, there is no doubt that first strike does massively improve accuracy. It's akin to when warfare went from musket balls to solid slugs that were sort of shaped. The solid slugs had a genuine range advantage and accuracy advantage over muskets. That's just for that's just the way it is. Now, going into modern warfare and trying to fire like a black powder musket, you would be at a massive disadvantage. But it's a bit along the lines of Sir, what was his name? I'm gonna have to actually look this up, because yes, I know what his name is. I know. It was Sir Mad Jack Churchill. that went into World War II with a claymore, and there is records of this bloke actually doing it. Went into World War II with a claymore sword and a bow and arrow, because he carried a sword because he declared that a gentleman was, I think it was an officer, was not dressed if he wasn't wearing a sword. And he is the only man. He actually took. I think it might be in World War II. Was the only man in World War II recorded to have had a kill with a bow and arrow. He was also recorded to have actually gone into melee combat with his claymore sword. Now, it's both amazing to think that a man could take on a machine gun with a bow and arrow and win. I mean, can you imagine being that German soldier that was taken out by an Englishman with a bow and arrow? But so there's that. But even then, to have some mad guy run in and start hacking your mates to bits with a claymore sword in World War II, it's that sort of thing. It's the unexpectedness of it. It's just stuff like that. It's amazing. The idea of taking on people with massive amounts of power with something that has been around a lot longer. That sort of thing, that really appeals to me. Albert says, I've lost the comment here. No, it's an urban myth that pumps are more accurate than normal markers. You have to be more accurate, as you may only get one shot. That's exactly it. Throughout all of my rambling, that is exactly it, what Albert has just said there. As for puppet versus spool, I don't really care. If it shoots straight and I'm having fun with it, I don't care if it's a puppet or a spool. I would say that spools are generally more quiet, but that's about it. It depends on, I suppose, in that instance, depends on if I want to be quiet or loud. Ben says, Dex, was that back block red? Yes, that back block was red. Have I just dropped somebody in it or something? Gaffs, yeah, you're learning from us, guys. You're too mag-fed. You know what it is? There is no such thing as too mag-fed. As long as you are having fun, it doesn't matter whether you play mag-fed, it doesn't matter if you play pistols or pump or anything. As long as you are having fun. Albert, why I love pump is the rush you get from when someone sprays a load of paint and you take them out with one shot. Yes, it's exactly stuff like that. It's like Colin, where he got the nickname Pump Fury from, going out and taking on tournament players with a pump action. Stuff like that it's amazing. It's and the fact that Colin actually won against those guys as well. Not ultimately, but I believe they got beaten, they got like second place or something. But going out and playing pump against guys that are playing with the tournament markers and stuff and actually doing well, it's amazing. I just can't get over stuff like that. It's fantastic. Richie says accuracy by volume. Well, in some instances, yes. I'm not actually opposed to going out and just spraying paint downrange, because sometimes it is fun. But I know I've also been on the end of spraying loads of paint downrange and then somebody else popping out and taking me out with one shot. And when it doesn't matter if you're on, if the other guy, that they've had the same sort of feeling as you, when they pop out and give it one shot and take you out, it is great. Albert, for me it's timing. You see, a lot of players always come out at the same side of the bunker, and you can work out when he or she is going to pop out, and then you get them. That's exactly it, Albert. It's something that players need to learn, the idea of using all of that bunker. Now, you don't really want to be popping up and down very often, but you can pop up and take the odd shot, because most experienced players will aim for the sides of bunkers because they know that that's where the players are going to pop out. Now, if a player has a bead on you, popping out of the right-hand side of your bunker, you need to learn how to swap hands and pop out of the left. Now, that might not actually matter so much if you are really far down range because you're shooting something like First Strike, but when you're playing... but when you're playing with a... you're playing round ball and you're up close and personal, you need to learn these things. You need to use more than one side of your bunker. You need to come up at the top sometimes as well. You need to come up on the right hand side of the bunker but high, and the bottom left hand side of the bunker low, and then vice versa. The top left high, bottom right low. Keep changing these things up. Keep moving around. Try to keep yourself in the game longer, and also learn how, as Albert says, learn what other players are doing as well. If they're coming out high all the time, start and aim high. Ben says 1 ball Barlow. Albert, tell the truth, Dex. It's also cheaper. That's also very, very true. Playing pump is, for the most part, a lot cheaper than playing with a semi-auto. As I said though, with accuracy, there is nothing stopping somebody playing, and I will argue this till I'm blue in the face. There is nothing stopping a player with a tournament style marker and a hopper on and all that sort of stuff from playing a similar style to playing pump. But the reality is that so many players, they get a hopper on top of their gun and they just want to spray paint downrange. That's all they care about. But it's when you playing pump or playing magfed, you are physically limiting how much you can pull the trigger, so you have to play that way. Playing with an electro marker or playing with even just a mechanical with a hopper on, you have to choose to play that style. Yes, Ben, Pump Fury. And Chan has turned up. Welcome tonight, Chan. How are you then? 10-second recap, you ginger home. Being a busy boy. I don't really know what I can do for a recap, Chan. We've been talking about CCM equipment, Gaff's new CCM SSR rifle that he's picked up, why they mean Albert and I suppose Colin, if he's still around, like playing pump. We've had a few things to talk about tonight. Obviously, I've done my I've done my first sort of normal shout out of where you can go and play this weekend and all that sort of stuff. Ben says he flashed the Chan pick, then demonstrated his pump style. I didn't flash anything from Chan because Chan hasn't actually sent a pick. Richie says bow and arrow, and Ben says air bow. You know what it is? I have tried using one of those once. I've never actually played with one in game, but I've tried using one of them once. Even on, I think it was around about £25 that it was set at, and the velocity on it was terrible. For to actually get decent velocity out of that, you must have to use at least £50 compound bow. And that's going to take a toll on you throughout the day. But you know, granted, I know that there is guys that have used air bows before, and when they actually get kills, that is an achievement, because that's not even something that you can just take a quick snapshot with. Although Gaffs, was it you, Gaffs, that shared the video of modifying an air bow for to take first strikes? Because I'm pretty sure I saw somebody doing that a little while ago, and at least I think I saw the video of it being shared up, but it was one I planned on going back to and never actually got round to going back to, so I might have to look that up later on. Yes, there we go, Gaffs. You also have an arrow gun. Sorry, an aero gun. It's a paintball bow. Yes, yeah. I knew a lad that had one years ago. Up at my sort of what used to be my local field, and it was fun to play with outside of an actual game. But I don't think I could have ever actually played a proper game with it. It would have been definitely been interesting. Albert, it was World War II. He also carried bagpipes. Yes. And apparently he was renowned for playing them while heading into battle. The man was a mental case, and I appreciate him so much. Mad Jack Churchill was an absolute legend. And if anyone is interested in learning a little bit more about Mad Jack Churchill, I would suggest check out Count Dankula and his Absolute Mad Lads series, where he does a video talking about things that apparently happened with Mad Jack Churchill and his life. It's a great video, and any of Count Dankula's Mad Lads series are definitely worth checking out, but definitely check out his Mad Jack Churchill episode. You'll probably get a good laugh at it. I particularly like the apparent story about leaving a battle, seeing American soldiers heading the wrong way. Instead of retreating, they were heading into battle, while thinking they were retreating. He told them that they were going the wrong way. They apparently said, "We know," and he went basically, "Screw yous." Yeah, screw yous. I'm not coming back again. The man was a legend. That's definitely one that's worth checking out. Gaffs, if you get better at playing paintball, you will be using it. Gaffs, mate, I don't think it's a getting better at paintball thing using the airbow. It's just being mental enough to use it. And as Ben says, you won't get better until you use it. Poseidon is asking Chan if he can make a reinforced ego feed neck. Chan would be the man. The Chandy man can. There we go. That's it, Gaffs. It looks easy, but you got to pull 70 pound to get 260 feet per second. Yeah, it is. It is not an easy piece of gear to use. You've got to have a canny bit of upper body strength to be able to pull 70 pound all day. And no, Ben, I don't think you can. Well, it would fall under the 5.5 mech rules, I suppose. Yes. Gaffs, you are more. You are. I don't know what you mean by yes. It's you again. You are more than welcome to be here and talk. June's Poseidon. Man, you love Magfed because you use a TPX. It's a light setup and more modded setup in my other TPX. I don't know what parts are though because you bought it used. Yeah, so you bought your TPX used, yeah. Well, that's it seems that when you buy them, there seems to be a great market, the great aftermarket. There seems to be a great second-hand market for TPXs. I mean, I had a couple in around about 2014. I sold them on because I just wasn't really interested in playing that style anymore. And there were mine were, I did have modified parts in one of them, but I stripped them out and I think I sold the modified parts independently. But the most common sort of upgrades for them is you can get like Delrin bolts for them, so they cycle a bit, faster, and they use less air because they're pushing a lighter bolt. There's also things like the first rate blocks and stuff like that. But the TPX is a really nice marker for it, especially if you're into sort of like pistol play or you're playing CQB games, things like that. Definitely a fantastic option. Albert, you've got a question. Why are marshals important to the game? And Gaff says because they need a job. Well, while that is true, Gaffs, it's not why they're important to the game. Paul says here, marshals give you a visual target to zero your marker. I'm pretty sure I've definitely been on the receiving end of that a few times. But why are marshals important to the game? Well, a marshal's job on the field, as pretty much all of we know, is to make sure that the players are safe. That is their ultimate job. the secondary job really is to make sure that the game runs well. Now, I believe there's supposed to be certain rules in place in the UK on, and I might actually have it wrong, but I was under the impression that in the UK it's supposed to be something like 1 ref to 15 rental players or something like that. Although that may have just been site standard operating practice. I think that's probably more likely to have just been site standard operating practice. And I know that in reality that doesn't happen because obviously marshals have to be paid for that time. A lot of sites don't make as much money as people think that they do, and those refs still need to be paid. Now, the ref's job, like I said, they are there to make sure that the customers on site, which you are a customer if you are a paying player, that you are safe. They are there to reinforce the rules because let's face it, there is a lot of players that if there is no refs there, there's a lot of players that will cheat because I can't think of anything nice to call them. And it's just it's a big one. If it basically just helps keep everything safe. That's the best answer that I can give. I think I talked about it before, but I did have a little bit of a kick-off at the last game that I played at. Now, it wasn't until afterwards I realised that, yeah, my behaviour was uncalled for. Now, I wasn't I wasn't starting a fight, but that's definitely how it, I think, came across. For those that possibly don't know, the last game I was at, I'd gotten into a bunker. I had some netting in front of me. There was a space where there was the objective in between and then another piece of netting with some guys behind that. Now we could all see each other through the netting, and there was a guy who was behind me, said wanted some cover fire to dive over the netting to try and get the objective, and wanted us to try and pin the players on the other side. Now, the problem is, the moment he dove over, those players, regardless how much paint we were sending at them, were going to pop up. Richie, I'd kick off at every game. I don't kick off at every game. But, I did feel a bit ashamed about my behaviour at this instance. So the guy jumps over the netting, goes for the objective. The players on the other side popped up, and as they popped up, I pops up, and they're shooting at the guy who's just dove over the netting. I hit one of them straight in the gogs. He drops back down. He continues to play on, and I shouted, on your gogs. He didn't leave. On your gogs, and we are about maybe 4 meters away from each other. I can see I've gogged him straight in the face. So he doesn't move. So I shouted at him again, and then I shouted at him again, and I'm shouting at him, and I'm shouting at him, and I'm getting more and more angry at the fact the lad isn't leaving. And he's had plenty of time to leave, but he's not. So I stood up, and I'm shouting at him, standing up in the middle of the game zone, shouting at him to get out. And it took one of the refs going over and chasing him out because he had a hit on his gogs, and I'm screaming at him, get out of the game. You're hit. And I believe his words were, fuck off, or something like that. And I was that really pissed me off. And then I got shot from the right hand side. Now, that was me out at that point. But the other players are arguing, and there's a lot of arguing going on. It's a bit hectic, and they're trying to argue that this guy wasn't out because the guy in the middle had been shot. It's like, but I hadn't been shot. But then they were pointing at me that I was covered in paint, but it was because I've just been shot over from my right hand side. So one of them pops up and just starts drilling me, and So yeah, this player starts drilling us, and that was it. That was the final straw for me. I snapped. Out from behind the bunker, I went storming round, and I was shouting at the kid, you know, like, if you want to shoot us, then come out into the roadway, and we'll just stand and we'll Mexican standoff. We'll just shoot each other until we can't anymore. But thinking back at it now, I think it sounded more like I was challenging him out for a fight, and one of the refs, rightfully so, was pushing me away and telling us to back off, telling us to calm down and everything. Now, I think at the time it probably did sound like I was challenging the lad out to a fight, and that wasn't my intention. It was just genuinely, if you want to shoot us to bits, then come on, we'll stand in the roadway and we'll just shoot each other to bits. But yeah, I was yeah, Chan, yeah. I was ashamed of my behaviour there, definitely. And the ref did the right thing on chasing me out of the way, getting us away from that game zone, giving us time to calm down, and just basically getting us away. He did the right thing, and that's the sort of thing that refs have to put up with. Now, refs sometimes, and I've been on the receiving end of players getting rowdy when I've been reffing. I was left in a situation where I thought I was going to get jumped by a stag party made up of boxers and rugby players, because the ref that I was working with ran away after almost starting a fight. And luckily, most of the time, a ref can calm people down most of the time. When somebody else steps in the way that isn't anything to do with it, a lot of the time, people will calm down. But refs deal with a lot of crap on fields, and they do a great job for the most part. You know, refs that are actually interested, especially refs that are players themselves, know things can get heated and stuff, and they do a fantastic job of what they do. Right, so going back a little bit here. But yeah, I was ashamed of my behaviour there. Now, me shouting on at people on field generally isn't a new thing. I think it's part of the game. But in fact, I believe there's a few players will tell you at North vs South, which I attended this year. There was one point where some players were screaming at me that I was cheating, and I think I quite rightly, shouted back. If you can come over here and you can show us where I have any paint on us, I will leave the game for the day. And it was Tony who sometimes drops in the chat. It was I think the only time me and him have ever met was him coming across me screaming on at this other player across the game zone. It was calling me a cheat. That if he can find any paint on me, I will leave the game for the day. And I genuinely would have left at that point. And one of the refs came over, checked us over completely, and went, "No, you've got nothing on you." So the other player, all he could do was walk away. But yes, Richie, I was a massive nerd doing that. Yes, and it made me ashamed of my behaviour, because I want to represent paintball in the best light that I believe I can, and that was not representing paintball in the best light that I could. Right. So yes, dropping in the comments. Marshals in my field helps you spot enemies. Also, they shoot markers. Well, that's it. A smart player can use refs to spot enemy players. A great one is, if you aren't sure where an enemy player is, just shout, "Ref, I hit him over there. Can you go check him?" And the ref will go try and find the player that you want to paint check on. Not that I advocate using such dodgy tactics. Poseidon says tape fixes everything. Indeed, it does. Richie says yes, safety as well. Poseidon, they're needed in tournaments. Yes, well, this is it. In tournaments where things are potentially at stake, or even just a lot of reputation can be at stake, there's more chance of, and in my opinion, of people cheating. There's a good chance of people cheating, and refs rightfully do a good job at spotting that and punishing people where they need to be punished. You shouldn't be cheating in the game. When you play paintball, you are a representative of paintballers and your home field, your team, whatever. So behave how you want your team to be seen for behaving. Play how you would want to be played against. Richie Wong, I kick off at every game. As I said, I don't think it's every game, but it is a lot of games. And most of the time, it's not kicking off necessarily at a player in particular. And it's sometimes quite good-natured kicking off. Poseidon, because you want to make a pump, do it. Get yourself a. You can buy relatively cheap pumps online. If you track one down, keep an eye out. Something will come up. Get yourself a pump. They're great fun for playing. Albert, it's not a good game if you don't lose your rag. Is that a bit like it's not a good wedding unless there's a fight? Richie Wong, he was blind, Dex. Blind. Yeah. Is that along the lines of, he can't see, man? Yes, Chan. Dex loves getting drilled. As do you, Chan, I believe. Poseidon, Die Ultra Light is very light, but the Stellars are good. Yes. The Stellars, there's a few of the lads on Nest use Stellar barrel kits, and I've yet to hear a complaint about them. Tony, good evening there. Thank you very much for dropping in. I was just talking about you. The UL basically weighs basically the same as the Stellar. Stellar may even be lighter. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, the ultralight barrel kit has been around for quite a while now, so could it be newer materials or sort of better, different milling or something on the Stellar barrel kit? It might actually be interesting to do a weight comparison of the newer Stellars versus the ultralight. Oh, sorry, the newer ultralights versus the Stellar barrel kit. Richie, if you had good genes, I wouldn't be so angry. I don't know if it's good genes as much as just the hot-blooded redhead sort of thing, or the hot-blooded ginger. I'm prepared to accept my fate if I am a ginger, not a redhead. Gaffs, Poseidon, I love Magvet too. You have a TPX as a sidearm. Yes, it's always handy as a Magvet player, especially if you're playing something that doesn't have exactly a high rate of fire, for to have a secondary. I found that 'cause I played Pump for a while with the TPX as a sidearm. There is actually some photos on my Facebook of us, which I might have to pull up someday. Playing Pump, and you can see my TPX strapped to my leg. I did actually for a while run a TPX as a sidearm to my CCI stock class Phantom, which was quite fun because pumping one shot into the Phantom and then having the TPX as a sidearm, so going into a room with that, and then taking the longer range shots with the CCI Phantom was kind of cool. I've just sprayed Monster on my face. Oh. And yes, Jan, you can indeed get a cheap pump in Amsterdam or Prague. I believe it's around about €50 for 15 minutes. I don't know if it's such a cheap pump, but Tony, what we're saying about you? I was just saying that I believe the only time, well, the first and only time we have ever actually met, was you witnessing me screaming and shouting at a player across the field. Poseidon, one of your friends has the Stellar and it's light but not as quiet. See, I'm not that fussed about being particularly quiet. I do have setups that are more quiet than others, but I'm not that fussed about it. Tony, while you're on the subject of kicking off, yes, that's it. Because it's the only time I've seen us play, and I was kicking off at the red pawn. Um, yeah, I was kicking off at the other side. There does seem to be a bit of a habit of me kicking off at other players, but it's just in the heat of the moment in the game, and I quite like meeting up with the players afterwards and just having a laugh about it. Richie, blue jeans, not genetic genes. All right then. Right then. So I have so far made it through an hour and 40 minutes without actually getting onto the second topic of today. So I still think we've covered some interesting stuff there. But I'm going to close down some of these things here. Close tab, and close tab, and right. Now, guys, I wanted to show this off. Now, I hope this all works here. So this was shared on SES Crazy Wolf's Facebook page a little while ago. I think it was just actually like last week when it was originally shared. In fact, I'll scroll over. The 20th of June. So like 6 days ago. 6 days ago, SES Crazy Wolf shared this to his Facebook page, and I wanted to give this a shout out because I think this is it's actually really cool. Gotcha 3D has created a M16A1 conversion kit for the Tipman TMC. Now I'm going to flick over onto my share screen here and just have a look at this. Now this has obviously got a box mag on it, which you should be able to replace for the normal sort of 10 round mags or 20 round mags or whatever they are. But that is actually quite a good recreation of an M16. Now if you wanted to go for a sort of a replica setup and have something along the lines of, now I'm just going to flick back over onto the main screen here. If you want to go for something like a replica setup and have yourself like the full Vietnam sort of setup, or you know, like along the lines of Full Metal Jacket setup or something like that for the going playing, that would be a fantastic option for you. It actually looks like the real thing. Now, and I know with that setup, you're probably going to have to run a remote line onto it so that it can stay a little bit more true to life. But yeah, I really like that. Now, I keep saying it, but you know, MagFed isn't necessarily the playstyle that I would choose to go for. But I can definitely respect MagFed gear, and I love the way some of it looks. But yeah, I love the way some of this stuff looks, and sometimes I do want to go down the route of having like basically cosplay setups, and it's kind of like going back to what me and the rest of the guys were talking about on, specifically the rest of the guys talking about on Monday night's Technical Problem broadcast. You know, the idea of having more fun games. Now, I think, you know, there is a lot of players who take, it's more the MagFed side who take it very serious and who want to go for the full, right, it's military spec gear and everything has to look like what the special forces are using now and stuff like that. And I know that sort of attitude is quite rife within Airsoft, but the idea of having like a recreating like a Vietnam setup and just having a laugh with it, or I've said before, if I would love to create like a full pirate setup and have like a proper single shot musket loaded, breech loaded pistol or something. I think things like that would be so much fun for actually creating for to do. And that's sort of do it as really light-hearted. Now something like that is perfect for it. To actually use a proper for to use a proper sort of realistic looking gear, just really cool. But yeah, definitely. But aside from that, can I just also give a shout out? If you guys are interested, if you want to see that again, go check out SES Crazy Wolf on Facebook. It is just at SES Crazy Wolf. There is also a link in the description to Gotcha 3D, their Facebook page. Sorry, not their Facebook page, their actual website. However, unfortunately, at the moment, that product isn't actually listed on the page. But if you are interested in it and you do actually want to get that your hands on that, go check it out. Go have a look at that page. Keep it bookmarked and just keep checking back regular. And hopefully they may actually list that to that Facebook page before long. I'm sorry, not that Facebook page, to that website. Right. Let's just check back some of the comments. Poseidon says, at gaffs, you love MagFed because it means you can be as light as possible, so you can use your speed to your advantage. Poseidon, well, if you want to be even lighter, then I'd suggest going for... Now, it does mean that reduced firepower, but I would suggest going for a stock class marker. You can build yourself a tiny little CCI Phantom, get yourself the tiny little barrel on it. I think it's like an 8-inch barrel. Just the trigger frame. Don't put a vertical stock class on it. The dropout changer on the back, so the back of the marker has only really short, a very short stick feed, or even just don't have a stick feed on. Just shove the 10-round tube straight into the back of the feed neck, and your setup is minute. And 10-round tubes weigh next to nothing compared to even to a 7-round mag. But in that instance, you do miss out, or you do lose firepower. Chan, comparing Rich's UL on his P-block to your Stella on the Carney, the Stella is quieter. Volume can be deceptive. I would agree with that. Albert, what's your opinion on people overpricing paintball guns? Well, I guess it just depends on if they want it to sell or not. If somebody doesn't want it to sell, then... Well, if somebody wants it to sell, you're going to have to price it right. If you don't want it to sell, but you want to put it up for sale, then yeah, you put in a ridiculous amount, don't you? I think it also comes down to people not actually knowing what they've got. Now, you see that a lot on sites like eBay, where somebody will try and sell something before it gets ripped down. They'll put it up for... You'll find like really cheap, what we know are really cheap spiders, or you'll find things like Tipman 98s or Tipman A5s that are up for £700 because, oh, well, I've put loads of upgrades in it. Yeah, but it's still a Tipman 98, or it's still a Tipman A5. Now, brilliant marker in its own right, but putting upgrades on it doesn't actually improve the value of it. Now, the kind of, these people will sometimes think, you know, oh, well, I paid £100 for it, and then I've put this extra part was £50, and this part was £50, and I put this part in it, and that was £50, and then, well, I had to put all the parts on, so I'm going to put in an extra £50 for my labour, so I want £500 for it, but it's still a £50 gun. It's, you know, it's like somebody buying a Corsa B, a Vauxhall Corsa B, for £500, and then you put bigger wheels on it and a big exhaust and some new speakers in the door. I want £3,000 for it. It's still the Vauxhall Corsa B. Now, potentially, if you find the right person, they might pay it. But yeah, when you overprice your gear, you're not going to get sales for it. Not necessarily. Chance is the ball bags. Albert, I know I'm a bitch. Poseidon, how much are Stellas? Surprisingly, not that expensive. I don't believe, well, I don't think that all that expensive, but it depends on how much you want to buy. Now, I think you could probably get yourself a Stella barrel, front and back, for less than £40. But if you actually want to have an effective barrel kit, then you're going to have to spend a lot more than that. You may be looking at £150 for a full good Stella barrel kit, which is going to be multiple backs and possibly a couple of fronts, maybe a couple of different sized fronts. It just depends on how much you want to spend and what you're looking for out of it. To be perfectly honest, I mostly shoot 685 back, but I started off where that was me underboring paint, because I mostly played pump. And it is now to the point where paint is now at the point where I quite often get rollouts on a 685. So realistically, I need to buy myself new barrels to compensate for the fact that I'm now getting rollouts on the smallest barrel that I have. Albert says, sorry, but that's ugly. Well, you see, that's personal preference. For all, I probably wouldn't buy one myself. I do think it is kind of cool. Chan says depends on what you buy, which, yeah, that's exactly right. Gaffs, my comments have just jumped around there again, so I now need to find that again. Gaffs, I got into Magfed because of realism, and you're a hunter in real life. Well, that explains a lot. If you like the realism, then yeah, that's perfectly understandable that you get into Magfed. I understand there's a lot of players who do play Magfed, play precisely because they want the realism, and I can't knock that. In my opinion, playing paintball is a lot more realistic than playing airsoft, but obviously with airsoft you do have more variety on the Magfed style equipment that you can choose from. But you don't. To me, that's not really the fear of being hit with a airsoft pellet than there is to being hit with a paintball. Paintballs hit harder, and ultimately you don't really want to be hit with a paintball for the most part. Now, yeah, okay, some hurt more than others and things like that. Like, I'm sure that some of you will have seen the video of me just taking a stream of paint and just not moving until I was basically told to by the ref. But I mean, it's not exactly pleasant, but you can stand it. But yeah, if you're into that sort of thing in real life, then if you're into hunting in real life, basically all you're doing is you're just hunting people instead of game, aren't you? Chan says, I sense a Hey Chan coming. Chan, you already know most of the things that I want made. I'm kind of tempted. Yeah, we'll go. I'm kind of tempted to see if I can get my hands on just a spider or something, and we're seeing if we can convert it into a pirate pistol. Proper musket loaded, barrel loaded, and everything. Or breech. It would be barrel loaded, so just fixed barrel, no feed net or anything, single shot load and everything. I think that would be really fun. But it would have to be like flared barrel and everything and wooden furniture on it, the whole lot. Poseidon says, Magfed is cheap as well if you're not running first strike. When playing normally, you go through 14 rounds because of your playstyle. Yeah, that's it. Playing Magfed, it is cheap because you do have a limitation there of having to change mags. Of most of them being mechanical and not, full auto is supposed to be banned in the UK. So you have things like that. It is definitely a cheaper way to play. Ben, does Gold Wave still exist? I have no idea. Albert, bring back Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or Minions games. Yeah, I totally agree. We need to have more fun games, which is why I'm looking forward and I'm really hoping that I can get along to Heroes versus Villains at Skirmish, because I think games like that they're really fun, and we need more fun games. It's exactly what we're talking about on Monday. Chan says Dex wishes he had an 8-inch barrel. I do. It's on my Phantom. Poseidon says he's tried asking Andy, but he said no. I've heard that before. Albert says Mars Attacks. Your brain has been in overdrive about that all day about it. Albert, make it happen. I would definitely support you doing that. Even if I couldn't make the game, I would definitely support you doing a Mars Attacks game, because again, great fun, and you could have some amazing props and especially some amazing costumes. Poseidon, right, I'll see you soon, mate. Gaffs, you want a pistol stock class? Can you guys recommend one for you? You'll use it as a sidearm. Right, well, Gaffs, if you are after a stock class pistol as a sidearm, you could make up I suppose your easiest option to get would be to go for a very small setup of a CCI Phantom. Now, you have multiple different options there if you want to go for a Nelson Valve type thing. And it depends on just how rare you want to go and what you want to get. If you want something that's heavy, but stock class, then I would suggest go for some brass and get like a PGP. If you want something that is really old school, you could go for, and it would be pump action again, but you've got two varieties. You can go for pump handle, or you can go for just bolt action. But a pistol, there's the Nelson Nelspot 007. If you can find one, there's the not the PGP, the original Splatmaster. They're quite fun as a sidearm, and you actually have to push. You've got to push cock them as opposed to pump it. So there's those. They're quite a good little sort of stock class sidearm. There is actually the AGD sidearm if you can find one, because those things are really, really rare. Now that would turn heads of the field if you could get your hands on a AGD sidearm, and I believe they were actually called the AGD sidearm, which I'm going to try and I'll have a quick look here and see if I can actually find it. AGD sidearm images. Aha, yes, yeah. Right then, I'll flick over to screen share. So it's these first ones here. The first two that show up, they're the AGD sidearm. Now, looking at it, no, that's a traditional stock. I think it's the traditional valve that's on the back there. It looks like the AGD logo as opposed to the X Valve logo. But yeah, you've got those as options. Again, they're probably going to be heavy, but there is not many of those around. So if you pull one of those out in a game zone, it's probably going to turn heads. Now I wonder if there's anything else. Is that a TPX that's been? Ugh. I'm not a big fan of that in the bottom right there. Yeah, that I don't really like that thing there. The bottom right here. That's the one that's kind of flashing up a bit there. Putting a spring-fed stick feed, spring-fed stick feed onto a TPX. No, not for me. This one here, that's flashing up. That's the I really need to change my mouse settings on this, but that is the original Splatmaster. Again, those things are proper old school. They are brilliant. I wonder if there's anything else on here that'll come up as in all fairness, the AGD sidearm you can get, the original ones of those would actually be semi-automatic, not pump action. But if you can also get AGD auto, you can get automatic pumps as well. So you could potentially have a stock class one. Potentially. Right, so drop over on that. The other option, I wonder if I can find one, is I wonder. Yeah. There's some of these that are possible options. Some of the smaller versions or smaller setups on the CCI Phantom, like the first one there, but that's got an undercocking kit. You probably don't want an undercocking kit if you want to go for a Phantom as a sidearm. You'd probably want to go for I think it's this third one in here, with the 3-inch pump handle on it. I think it's about a 6 to an 8-inch barrel, and then you go for a stick feed out the back, kind of like this one here. You go for a dropout changer out the back instead of a quick changer. That makes it just a little bit smaller, a bit easier for it to change the 12 gram on, and the stick feed on the top, you could either remove that and just put 10 round tubes straight into the back, of this the feed neck adapter bit, or you could continue to use the stick feed as is, which will probably hold 10 shots in there anyway. But yeah, there is different options like that one there. That is a Carter Mini Buzzard. You could go for something like that as well, but I'm not sure if I've ever seen a sort of a really small version of that. But the valve, the section on the back that houses the valve is, I would imagine, probably very, very similar to a CCI Phantom, because they're both Nelson based markers. So you could potentially change that for like a dropout changer on the back of that. So pretty much any Nelson valve marker could be potentially turned into a sidearm, but it just depends on what you want to do with it. It ultimately kind of depends on how much money you want to spend and how rare you're prepared to go with things. Got to go back on some of these comments a little bit. Chan, yeah. Tony, Dex likes £50, don't he? I'm not sure what you mean by that. If you mean £50 cash, then always. Gaff's TPX, you reckon? But the TPX isn't a stock class sidearm. It's a semi-automatic. But for something just off the shelf, the TPX probably is a really good option at the moment. It doesn't seem like I can't remember what that Tiberius is particularly doing much with their pistol line at the moment. I mean, you've got I think it's the FSC, and the FSC does seem to be getting quite a bit of attention, but I think Tipman is still winning that with the TPX at the moment. Ben, should we start a GoFundMe? Indeed, yes, always. It's just start GoFundMes for everything. Gaffs, you have the TPX, but the mags make your loadout heavy. Well, that's it, Gaffs. Carrying mags is a bit heavier. What I would recommend, if you're interested in I don't actually have it. I think it's in storage at the minute. If you're interested in carrying 10 round tubes, check out WTFPB. I think it's just WTFPB.com. Check out some of the stuff that they produce for stock class. Particularly, like, I think it's the Radius Gauntlet. I have one for when I'm playing stock class, or if I'm playing, if I just want like a really light set out, I've got my Gauntlet, and that's all I need for a quick game. It carries, the one I've got, and I think it is the one of the older designs, carries 4 full 10 round tubes and can carry 2 12 gram CO2 tanks, CO2 sparklets. But for the most part, if I'm playing with that setup, I don't even bother with carrying the extra sparklets. I might carry one in my pocket and that's it. But that's for my quick, nice and easy setup. If I'm playing stock class properly, and I'm only playing stock class, and I'm playing, say, the big game or a walk-on or something like that, I have a Joyride PB, it's a PB Mafia Joyride harness that I think holds around about 16 10 round tubes, but that is a dedicated stock class setup that I use. So yeah, but yeah, like having a stock class pistol would be actually quite a good sidearm. The thing is, as I said before, with Poseidon, you will be lacking firepower if you go over to a stock class setup. Chan says that that's a 3-inch mate. I don't think that I'm pretty sure the pump kit is the 3-inch pump kit. The barrel's bigger than the 3-inch. I'm sure it's like 6-inch. I don't think I even have that hand at the minute either, though. So I can't even show that. I'm sure it's like a 6-inch or a 8-inch barrel or something that you can get. I don't think they do a 3-inch barrel because that would actually be inside the smaller pump handle. Richie Wong, Splatmaster pistol. Yes, the Splatmaster pistols were awesome. Albert, you've got a few old pumps. You've got a few old pump bodies I can have if I make one into a pirate pistol. The thing is, Albert, it would need to be semi-auto. And I suppose, actually, not even necessarily. It wouldn't have to be semi-auto. I wonder if you could actually make like effectively make like a flintlock design to lever action a tracer. If you could lever action it open and then closed to cock it after breech loading it, yeah, actually that could work. But at the same time, it would be really tempting to do like an American sort of Civil War style rifle and only shoot first strike from it. Just you give yourself that little bit of advantage, but have to stand there at the back of the game, breech loading it down with a Gibe long stick. Gaffs, can I show pics? Did you not see, or at this point I'm not sure whereabouts these comments were posted. If you didn't see and you want to see the pics again, I can share the stuff again if you want us to. Richie Wong Airgun Designs is still going. Yes, it is, but I don't know if they would have any sidearms for sale. They might do, they might not. Yeah, Tiberius is an option, like Chan says there, but I don't know if Tiberius is an option, but it depends if you want a pump or not. And by the sounds of it, Gaffs is after a pump as opposed to so that you can use 10-round tubes as opposed to carrying extra mags. Albert, make a blunderbuss. Yeah, I would. That's something else that I would love to try having a go at, but I don't know. I don't know if you could kind of just if you'd be able to just say pour stuff down the barrel though. And as Ben says, AGD they've never gone. They've just kind of really backed off and minimised everything that they're doing. Albert, if wanting a pump sidearm, for me, look at the PGP as still buying new and parts are really easy to get. What I would say about PGPs though is they have a habit of not being able to get good velocity on them. Now, if it is a last ditch sort of pull out and shoot, then if they're potentially going to be like just around a corner or something, then yeah, go for it. But in my experience, I've had difficulty getting PGPs to shoot good velocity. But that's not to say that everybody has. I know some people have managed to get PGPs where they do shoot good velocity. I guess I just haven't. Albert says, second hand they can go for cheap. Yeah, you only paid £20 for his. Yeah, this is it. You can get PGPs for next to nothing. For a while, the value of PGPs in the UK was around about, I think, £50 to £60. And then there was somebody found a bulk deal where I believe there was around 50 of them. They had been sight guns at some point that had been in storage. They went for really cheap. That kind of knocked the market out of PGPs in the UK. And as a result, as Albert says, you can now get PGPs in the UK for like £20 a piece, which is fantastic for something that even if you get one that is a dud, at £20 it makes a really awesome wall hanger. It's something that's really cool, especially if you actually take a little bit of time to polish them up and get them a good clean up and everything. They'll look really cool. Poseidon, you shouted over this one player. You shouted over to this one player one time on your pack, but didn't go out. Shot one more time and then asked the ref to get him out. Yeah, that's absolutely fair enough, Poseidon. If you've got refs nearby who can do that, That's the right way to do things. Chan, it's the pump you remember now. You need to finish your semi-auto stock class trilogy carbine. Yes, you do, Chan. You need to finish that off, and so we can see that and have a good neb at it. Because I like seeing your creations. And it's modelled after the M1A. I'm guessing this is the M1A one. And it's going to run on 12s. Yes, do it. Poseidon, if it wasn't for Kingfisher, you wouldn't have known about my channel. Oh, well, in that case, thank you very much, Kingfisher. I met the guy over at District 23 one day. He was a good bloke. He actually joined us on playing on the zombie side at District 23 because I was really struggling to take any players out. I believe it had been 15 minutes and I hadn't taken anyone out yet. So, yeah, he's a good guy. Ben says, pump spimmy. Just pump everything. Finally, the last kind of thing I wanted to talk about is where can you buy, sell, and trade paintball gear in the UK, and how to go about doing it, because it does seem like it's a topic that is coming up relatively regular within the UK paintball scene. Because unlike in America, we can't sell paintball markers on eBay, so that takes out of the equation. There is also, you can't sell on Facebook because Facebook are just cracking down on anything that is gun related at all, basically. So where can you buy, sell, and trade paintball equipment in the UK? Right, well, if it isn't a marker, you can pretty much buy and sell most gear on Facebook. As long as you can kind of prove that there isn't a marker in it, you can buy, sell, and trade on Facebook. Now, there is some places on Facebook that you can't sell markers, but markers do get sold. There is people they'll set up pages and they'll try and work around the system for a little while. Unfortunately, most of those pages do end up getting shut down. But people still try it, and sometimes it works for a while, and you can be on there and you can get some good deals and things, but it is hit or miss as to how long that page is going to steal. For the most part, though, if it's any other paintball gear, if it's clothing, equipment, as long as it isn't a marker, you can probably get away with selling it on Facebook. The same applies to eBay. Now, you can sell your clothing, you can sell masks, you can sell, in some cases, tanks. You can sell pretty much the whole lot on eBay, apart from markers. So that leaves, if you're looking to buy, sell, or trade paintball markers, you're looking at selling in person, and which I would recommend if you do want to do that, then meet up at reputable sites. Don't just do it underneath the car park at the local Asda or something like that, because that's how you're going to get robbed. If you want to sell in person, do it somewhere public. Now, when I say, if you're doing it in a... Be sensible about it when I'm saying doing it in public. Don't do it in the middle of a McDonald's or something, because that's how you're going to end up with the armed response unit tending the scene. Yes, I see you, dog. Yes. What I recommend is go to a local paintball field, preferably one that you actually know, and do the deal there. In that case, everybody sees what you're actually getting in person. Now, if you aren't able to do it online, if you aren't able to do it in person, then there is several places that you can do it online. There is some Facebook. There is some paintball forums that are still in action, so you can check them out. There's places like Paintballer, or there is SSE Dog. There is also one sec here. Where I've been looking on lately. I haven't actually been It's not overly active at the moment, but it's still really small, is the paintballmagonline.com. They do actually have a forum attached to their page, to their website, where you can go and check that out, and you can post on there and stuff. You can buy, sell, and trade on that, I believe. Or at least that may be an option in future. I've just had a quick look there. I'm just going to check the forum. Yes, there is equipment sales on on the Paintball Mag online as well. So there is actually that option there if you want to do that. But yes, so unfortunately, what options are getting a bit limited as to where you can buy, sell, and trade. However, there is also paintballunite.com if you want to do some buy, selling, and trading. It's a site that was set up relatively recently. I've got to be perfectly honest, I haven't actually used it myself, so I can't vouch for much in the way of it, but I know that there is other guys that do use it, and that I'm fairly confident in the guys that actually run it and stuff. So for all I haven't used it myself and I can't vouch for it in that regard, I do pretty much trust the guys that have set it up. But it's one that it's definitely worth checking out. There is a link in the description down below as to where you can actually check that out. As I said, it is paintballunite.com. Yeah, go have a look, and you know, you never know. It could be in a whole new world for you to getting new gear or getting rid of the gear that you don't want anymore. And it's just building up clutter. Just gonna flick over that. Right, so looking at the comments here. Yeah, as Chan says, yes, it's the M1A1, the Paratrooper's carbine, awesome. Albert says, get the right spring in the PGP. You've managed 250 out of yours. Out of one. Well, that's the thing. I tried shimming mine. I tried all sorts, and I couldn't. It was actually that low that it wouldn't even register on some chronographs. But as you said, if you get the right spring in it, that changes. You can get a usable velocity out of them. I mean, 250 out of a sidearm isn't bad. That's pretty good. You know, you can even use that indoors, and people aren't gonna. Well, it's not something that people can complain about. Plus, there's something awesome about carrying a PGP round. That's a head turner in itself. Ben, you have one of them, no frame. Tony, cough cough. What's that? You didn't trade any. You just had multiple ARV to my room. Paul Cross. All right, so I've missed a comment there. Paul Cross picked up a carny in a little chef car park and a DC1 in Tesco's car park. It was fine, no ARVs in sight. Oh yes, now I get what you're saying, Tony. Yeah, that wasn't anything directed at you. That was, I think that could have happened to pretty much anyone. And an FT for 20 quid. Nice. And Tony says he didn't trade any, just had multiple ARVs to his room. Yeah, that was unfortunate for you, mate. Right, anyway, guys, I think I'm going to have to end the stream there because, as most of you know, I normally only stream until about 10 o'clock, and it is now 20 past, and the dog has decided to come in and start looking at us. So, yes, good boy. Do you want to come? Do you want? Come here. Can you prove that you actually exist? Come on. Come here. He's doing your play. Oh. Nope, he's just going to sit down there. Right, anyway. So, thank you very much for tuning in tonight, guys. It has been a pleasure to be your entertainment for the night. Thank you all for actually hanging around for such a long time. What? Are you going to come on? Nope, he's just fighting it. I'm going to get you on stream one day. I am, yes. Right, anyway, yeah, so thank you very much for tuning in, guys. It has been a pleasure as always. So I think I'm going to... We will never see this elusive dog. It is not an imaginary dog. I have actually showed the dog on stream. Just not to... Come on. Come on. Nope. He'll come see us, but the moment I try and lift him up for to come on stream, he runs, he backs off. Don't you? Yes. Anyway, so thanks very much for tuning in, guys. It's not a puppet, Richie. Richie, you know I have a dog. You've slept in this house. You know I have a dog. Yes, he does, doesn't he? Anyway, thank you very much for watching, guys. if anyone's interested, I do have some merchandise that I'm slowly building up a merch store. There is a link in the description down below if anyone wants to check it out. Any money that is raised by selling merch would obviously go back towards trying to improve anything I do with the channel. Albert says, it's fake, I'm whacking off under the table. The table is over here, my hands are over here. But so anyway, yeah, so as always guys, thank you very much for watching. It's been a pleasure as always, and I shall see you same time, same place next week. If you like what I do here, also check out the Technical Problem broadcast on Monday nights, which is normally 8:30 till late, where I basically do a show with Albert, Colin, and Chan, and we sometimes get guests in. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. I've rambled on now long enough so that you know that I am actually ending the stream, and I shall see you all later. Bye.